I was standing right next to Clint Pruitt, pointing at the vibration monitor on line 3. When my phone buzzed, Clint was writing something in his notebook. Probably the third time I'd explained the same thing to him that week. How to read the temperature curve before the bearing actually shows stress. How a 0.3 degree spike at idle means something completely different than the same spike under load. Stuff you don't learn in a classroom. Stuff you learn at 2 in the morning when a machine goes down and you're the only one who knows how to bring it back. He nodded like he understood. He didn't. I checked my phone. Text from Nolan Pruitt, his dad, my plant director. Dale, we're moving Clint into the operations director role. He brings fresh perspective. Announcement at 3 p.m. I read it twice. Put the phone back in my pocket. Clint was still writing. My name is Dale Mercer, 54 years old. I spent 4 years in the Navy as a machinery technician, got out in 1992, worked a couple of other shops, and landed at Pruitt Precision Parts in Ohio in 1998. Started as a floor tech at 31. Worked my way up to operations manager over 23 years. Built the maintenance systems, the lean protocols, the supplier relationships that kept that place running day after day, and I just found out I was being replaced by the guy I was standing next to. The guy who couldn't read a basic vibration chart without my help. At 3 p.m., Nolan called me into his office. Sheila Pruitt, his niece, HR manager, was already there with the paperwork ready. Lateral transfer to senior technical advisor. Same pay. Cubicle instead of office. Primary duty listed as support Clint during transition. No meeting beforehand. No phone call, just a text and a pre-signed form. I looked at the papers, then at Sheila. The whole Pruitt family in one room deciding what to do with 23 years of my work. When does this take effect? Monday, Nolan said. Clint has some exciting optimization projects lined up. I folded the paperwork and put it in my back pocket, walked out. That night, I told Carol, we'd been talking about this promotion for months over dinner. The extra money would have knocked out the rest of our son's college tuition and taken a real chunk out of the mortgage. We had it half planned already. She sat quiet for a minute after I told her. What are you going to do? She asked. Go somewhere that actually wants what I know how to do, I said. She looked at me, then nodded once. Good. One word. But the way she said it told me everything. She wasn't surprised. She'd watched me carry that place for 23 years. She knew what it was worth, and she knew they didn't. That Friday, I cleaned out my office. 23 years of documentation went into boxes, not out of spite, because it was mine. The preventive maintenance schedules I built from scratch, the torque specifications I developed machine by machine, accounting for the temperature swings in that building from November through March, the vendor contacts I'd built through handshakes and follow-through, not contract language, personal notebooks, equipment logs I'd kept since the late 1990s. None of it was ever formally entered into the company system. I always figured I'd be there until I retired. That was my mistake. I left behind everything required, the official procedures, the standard specs, the documented stuff. But the why behind every number, the context that made those procedures actually work in that specific building, with those specific machines, that walked out with me. Before I locked the desk for the last time, I wrote out a note on a legal pad sheet, 7 lines. The things that weren't written down anywhere, torque exceptions, temperature thresholds by machine number, how Hank Dillard's supply operation ran tight during Q3, so you never pushed delivery changes in September. The specific preload sequence on the line 2 bearing assembly that the manufacturer's manual had wrong for 15 years and nobody else ever noticed. The last line, if you're reading this, it's already too late. I folded it, put it in the top drawer, and locked it. Didn't mention it to anyone. Let me back up, because what happened next didn't just fall out of the sky. For about 9 months before all this, I'd been having conversations with Ward Calloway. It started as vendor meetings. Calloway Industrial runs a manufacturing operation 35 miles east in Pennsylvania, family-owned, 3 generations. Ward had reached out through a mutual supplier contact, wanted to talk shop. We kept talking. Once a month, sometimes more. Ward is 61, old school, built like someone who spent his 20s on the floor and never fully left it. When I explained what I'd built at Pruitt, the maintenance systems, the lean protocols, the supplier relationships, he didn't ask me to put together a presentation. He just said, show me. So when Nolan's text came in that morning while Clint was writing in his notebook, I already had somewhere to land. I hadn't gone looking for a way out. but I'd been building one anyway, without quite realizing it. Monday morning, Clint moved into my office. New nameplate on the door. Whiteboard covered in MBA language, synergistic optimization, data-driven efficiency metrics, transformational operational culture. He called an all-hands meeting to talk about his vision for the operation. The floor guys looked at each other. Eddie Watts, who'd worked alongside me for 14 years, just shook his head slow. These were people who knew the difference between someone who could describe a process and someone who could actually run one. I wasn't there to see any of it. I was already 35 miles east. Ward gave me 2 weeks to walk Callaway's floor and figure out what I was looking at. The operation was smaller than Pruitt. 38 people when I started, 1 main production line, 2 secondary assembly areas, but solid. 3 generations of doing things right. What they had was efficiency they'd never fully unlocked because nobody had looked at the whole system at once. They'd been working around the same 4 bottlenecks for years, treating them like permanent facts of life instead of problems with solutions. I identified all 4 in the first week. The biggest one was their bearing maintenance cycle. They were running scheduled replacements on a fixed calendar every 90 days, regardless of what the machines were actually telling them. That's textbook. That's also wasteful. In the Navy, they taught us to read vibration and temperature together, not separately. A machine doesn't tell you it's failing in one number. It tells you in a pattern. Catch the pattern 3 days out, and you do planned maintenance on your schedule. Miss it, and you do emergency repairs at double the cost on the machine's schedule. I rebuilt their monitoring protocol from scratch. Each line got daily temperature and vibration readings logged together, compared against baseline. We weren't guessing anymore. We were watching. I also looked at their supplier setup. They were splitting polymer orders across 3 vendors to avoid dependency on any single source. Smart in theory. In practice, it meant 3 different delivery schedules, 3 different quality standards to manage, and no real leverage with any of them. I proposed consolidating into one primary relationship with a secondary backup. Better pricing, simpler logistics, and a supplier who actually had reason to prioritize us when things got tight. Ward didn't hover, didn't second guess. Just watched and let me work. "You've been doing this longer than my son's been in high school," he said at the end of week 2. Make it work within 30 days. Line efficiency was up 12%. Downtime dropped 35%. Material costs fell once the supplier consolidation settled in. Ward sat me down after the monthly numbers came in and put an equity offer on the table. Not just a paycheck, actual ownership in the improvements I was generating. A piece of what I was building. 23 years at Pruitt. Never once heard that offer. Back in Ohio, things were moving in the other direction. Wednesday of Clint's first week, line 3 went down during routine maintenance. Bearing replacement, the procedure said 45 feet lb torque. What it didn't say, what wasn't written anywhere, was that machines 4 through 7 in that line needed 42. The northwest corner of that building ran cold from November through March. Temperature variance changed the metal expansion just enough to matter. I'd known it for 11 years. It was in my head, not in any document because I was always the one doing it. They torqued to 45. Bearing failed 6 hours later. 4-hour production halt waiting on emergency parts. Eddie texted me that night, not asking for advice, not asking me to come back, just telling me what happened. He'd watched that line for 14 years and knew exactly what had gone wrong and exactly why. A few days after that, Hank Dillard called me directly. Hank ran our primary polymer supplier out of Western Pennsylvania. We'd worked together for 15 years. When Pruitt hit a rough patch in 2018, cash flow issues, needed extended payment terms to get through a slow quarter, Hank held the line for us. Didn't have to. Did it because we'd built something real over 15 years. 2 guys who said what they meant and did what they said. That kind of thing doesn't go in a contract. It just exists because you built it. "Dale," he said, "the new guy up there wants to renegotiate everything. Says he's optimizing the vendor relationship. He said it like it tasted bad. I'll honor the existing contract terms, but I'm done extending anything beyond that. No priority delivery, no bulk pricing. Everything goes through procurement from now on." I told him I understood. He said he was sorry it had gone the way it did. I told him not to be. By week 3 at Pruitt, Clint had brought in a consulting firm, $65,000 to analyze the operation and produce a recommendations report. Eddie sent me the executive summary when it came out. They'd reverse engineered my old systems, renamed everything. called it Optimized Lean Protocol V2.0, and dressed it up with charts and implementation timelines. The consultants understood the procedures. They had no idea why certain numbers were what they were, why 42 instead of 45 on machines 4 through 7, why you never pushed Hank on delivery windows in September, why the line 2 preload sequence ran counter to what the manufacturer's manual specified. That knowledge wasn't in any document. It had been living in my head and Eddie's hands for over a decade. Now it was in a locked desk drawer in a note nobody had found yet. Production efficiency at Pruitt dropped 15% over the first 2 months. Maintenance costs jumped. 2 suppliers quietly pulled their preferred pricing and went back to standard contract terms. Eddie's texts got shorter and more frequent, a few words at a time. Updates from a guy watching something he'd spent years helping build get taken apart piece by piece. Then line 2 went down completely. Not routine. Catastrophic bearing failure, the exact kind my monitoring protocol was designed to catch 3 days early. Temperature spikes, vibration pattern shift, subtle load variance. The warning was there. Clint's team was following the consultant protocol, which meant reading each metric in isolation. They saw the individual numbers. They missed the pattern. Pushed the equipment past safe operating range because each single data point was technically within acceptable limits. 12-hour shutdown, emergency parts, weekend overtime. Customer delivery delays triggered penalty clauses in 2 contracts. Eddie sent me a photo from the floor. Clint was in Nolan's office, door closed. I looked at it for a second, put the phone down. I didn't feel satisfaction. What I felt was something closer to tired. 23 years of building something solid, and it came apart in 8 months. Not because the work was fragile, because the people running it stopped understanding what was holding it together. Thompson Industries, Pruitt's biggest account, pulled their contract 2 weeks after the Line 2 failure. Quality issues, late deliveries, communication breakdowns. A relationship that had taken years to build, gone in a letter. Their purchasing manager called me the morning after. "Dale, heard you're over at Callaway now. We've got a manufacturing need coming up. You interested in bidding?" We bid, came in 18% below Pruitt's last quoted price. Better delivery timelines. Track record that spoke for itself. We won $1.8 million annually. I didn't go after that contract. The work followed the reliability. That's all that happened. When you spend years doing what you say you're going to do, people remember. And when they have a choice, they go where that memory lives. About a week after we won the Thompson account, Eddie Watts called me. Not a text this time, a call. "Dale, I'm done watching this. I want to come over." And I've got Russ and Floyd who feel the same way. Russ had been on that floor for 9 years, Floyd for 7. Between the 3 of them and Eddie, they carried a big piece of the real operational knowledge, the stuff that made the procedures work, not just the procedures themselves. The pattern recognition that comes from years of watching the same machines in the same building through the same seasonal cycles. I told Ward the next morning. He made calls that afternoon. All 3 of them were at Callaway within 2 weeks. It wasn't just me that had walked out of Pruitt. It was an entire ecosystem. The relationships, the institutional memory, the hands-on knowledge that had been accumulating for over a decade. When you lose the people who actually know why things work, you don't just lose their labor. You lose everything they've been carrying without anyone ever writing it down. Nolan called me on a Thursday morning, 8 months after I'd left. "Dale, we need to talk. Can you come in at 2? I could hear it in his voice. Not the confident plant director who'd send a text message to end 23 years of my career. Something worn down. Something that had been running into walls for 8 months and had run out of ideas. I had 30 minutes free at 2. I told him I'd come. When I walked into his office, Clint was already there, sitting in the corner with his laptop open, not looking at me. Nolan started with operational challenges and transition issues, the language people use when they can't bring themselves to say what actually happened. Then he got to the point. They wanted to bring me back as a consultant, $125 an hour, short-term basis. Fix the equipment reliability problems, stabilize the supplier relationships, get things back on track, and then hand it back to Clint. "You want me to fix the problems you created by replacing me," I said, "and when I'm done, Clint takes the credit for the turnaround." Nolan shifted in his chair. "It's more complex than that, Dale. We value your expertise." I looked over at Clint. He still hadn't looked up from his laptop. sitting in the corner of his father's office, staring at a screen, while his father tried to negotiate with the guy he'd pushed out 8 months ago. "Clint," I said. He looked up. First time since I'd walked in. "I hope you learned something from this." He didn't answer, didn't look away either, just sat there. I turned back to Nolan. "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not available. You made a decision. Turns out it was the wrong one. That's not my problem to fix anymore." I walked out. No speech, no final point to prove, just the door closing behind me. 3 weeks later, Eddie texted, "Clint got fired this morning. Board meeting. Nolan announced early retirement next month." I read it, put my phone down, and went back to reviewing Callaway's Q4 numbers. The note in the drawer got found during week 6 of the collapse. They were clearing out my old desk, finally moving Clint into the office properly. One of the maintenance guys unlocked the drawer and found the folded legal pad sheet inside. Passed it to Clint. Clint read it and took it straight to Nolan. 7 lines. Handwritten. The torque exceptions, the temperature thresholds by machine number, the Hank Dillard Q3 window, the line 2 preload sequence the manufacturer had wrong, the things that weren't in any document because I'd never imagined I'd need to leave them behind. The last line, "If you're reading this, it's already too late. Eddie heard about it secondhand from a floor guy who'd been walking past Nolan's office when Clint handed it over." Said Nolan read it, set it down on his desk, and sat there for about 3 minutes without saying a word. That was the moment. Not the line 2 failure, not the Thompson contract loss, not the board meeting. The note, 7 lines on a legal pad. That's when Nolan understood what had actually happened. Not just that things had gone wrong, but why, and what exactly he'd thrown away to get there. A private equity firm bought what was left of Pruitt a few months after the board decided they couldn't turn it around internally. Their representative, Perry Holden, called me not long after the deal closed. "Mr. Mercer, we understand you built the original operational systems. The facility has real potential. We're prepared to offer significant compensation to bring you in and rebuild." He named a number. 16,500 base, performance bonuses on top. "I'm not interested," I said. "Be practical about this. This is a substantial opportunity. It's not about the money," I said. "That place had its shot with my systems. They made a choice. I'm not going back to rebuild what they tore down." I hung up. 18 months after I cleaned out that desk, Pruitt Precision Parts closed permanently. Equipment sold to a scrap dealer. Building listed for lease. Last I heard, a developer bought it for retail. The loading dock where I spent 23 years receiving materials, where Hank Dillard's trucks used to back in before anyone else showed up in the morning, is going to be parking spaces for a strip mall. That's their story. Mine was still going. At Callaway, we were building something real. The Automotive Consortium partnership came together about 14 months after I joined. Ward had been pursuing them for 2 years before I arrived, but we didn't have the performance numbers to back it up. After 14 months of Eddie, Russ, Floyd, and me running that floor the right way, we did. 5-year deal, $8.5 million annually. Guaranteed volume, premium pricing, and performance incentives tied to our delivery and quality numbers. Their lead negotiator told me straight out what closed it. 23 months of on-time delivery at your previous operation, and what you've built here in 14 months. 0 quality complaints. Best cost structure we've seen in this region. How do you maintain that kind of consistency? Experience, I said. We don't chase theories. We solve problems the same way every day until it becomes muscle memory. He nodded like he'd heard that before, and it had always turned out to be true. Ward and I drove back from that meeting mostly quiet. When we pulled into the Callaway lot, he shut off the engine and sat there for a second. "Dale, I've been thinking about something for a few months now. My son's going to law school. He's not interested in the business. I need to think about what happens to this place when I step back." I waited. "I'd like you to become my partner. 50-50, 3-year transition. We restructure as Callaway Mercer Industrial. Your buy-in is covered by the profit sharing you've already earned. You take over day-to-day. I handle strategic relationships and wind down gradually. Callaway Mercer Industrial. My name on the building." I told him I needed a night to talk to Carol. We sat on the back porch that evening. The kids were grown and gone. The yard was quiet. Carol had a glass of wine. I had a beer. I laid out the whole thing, the deal structure, the equity, what the transition would look like over 3 years. She listened without interrupting. the way she always does when something matters. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment, looking out at the yard. 23 years, she said. 23 years you kept that place running. You came home some nights at midnight because a machine broke down and you were the only one who knew how to fix it. You trained the guy who replaced you and they sent you a text message. Yeah, and now someone wants to put your name on the building. Yeah. She looked at me. Dale, do it. You've earned this 10 times over. That was enough. 3 months later, the sign went up. Callaway Mercer Industrial. I drove in at 6 in the morning, the day they installed it. Parked in the lot and stood outside in the November cold, looking up at it. My name in 3-foot letters, visible from the highway. 54 years old, Navy tech, floor worker, maintenance man, operations manager, partner. I stood there for a few minutes without taking a picture, without calling anyone, just looked at it. Then I went inside and started the morning walk. Manufacturing Weekly ran a feature piece a couple months after the partnership announcement. Callaway Mercer. How old school know-how beat MBA theory. The article got picked up across the trade publications. My phone ran hot for a solid week. Industry contacts, former colleagues, a few competitors, people I hadn't talked to in years. I talked to all of them, told them the same thing every time. We respect the fundamentals. We don't chase theory. We solve problems the same way every day until it's second nature. And we value the people who know how to do the actual work. The call that hit different came from Earl Briggs. Earl had mentored me back in the early 2000s, ran a mid-size operation in Indiana for 30 years before he retired. Sharp guy, no nonsense. He taught me early on that the best maintenance program is the one that makes itself invisible. No breakdowns means nobody notices it's working. That used to frustrate me when I was younger. I wanted the credit. Now I understand it's the whole point. If everything runs clean, you've done your job right. The fact that nobody's clapping doesn't change that. Earl had seen the Manufacturing Weekly piece. Dale, he said, I've been watching your career for a long time. What you built at Pruitt and what you've built at Callaway Mercer, that's what manufacturing used to be about. Competence, reliability, respecting the craft and the people who do it. A lot of guys your age got pushed out the same way you did and never came back. You came back and put your name on the door. I'm proud of you, son. I didn't say much back, just thanked him, but that one stayed with me. Today I'm at my desk, going through expansion projections for our new automotive division. We've grown from 38 employees to 61. Profit-sharing bonuses last quarter averaged $2,800 per person. Eddie Watts is our floor supervisor with an equity stake. Russ and Floyd are senior technicians. Hank Dillard is our primary polymer supplier again. Same terms we always had when we were reliable people, his words exactly. Ward stopped by this morning to tell me we're running 30% above projections for the year. Said it like it was nothing unusual, then went back to his office. That's how it runs now, solid, quiet, working. Every morning I walk the production floor before the first shift starts, check the equipment. Look at the vibration monitors. Stop and talk to the operators. Catch problems before they become shutdowns. The same things I did for 23 years at a place that eventually decided I wasn't worth a phone call. The difference now is that when I leave this building at the end of the day, I'm leaving something with my name on it. Clint Pruitt is at a consulting firm in Ohio. His profile talks about leading operational transformation initiatives in challenging environments. I guess that's one way to put it. The building where I spent 23 years is going to be a strip mall. The dock where Hank's trucks used to back in before anyone else showed up. Parking spaces now. That's their story. Mine keeps going every morning at 6 when I walk through that door. Respect doesn't follow titles. It follows results. It follows the person who actually knows what they're doing day after day without needing a presentation to explain it. They let me go. I took the foundation with me. Turns out, that was all I needed. The guys who replace experience with credentials don't lose slowly. They lose all at once, and they never quite understand why. Real expertise doesn't retire when you walk out the door. It just finds somewhere worth showing up to.